Hello students, we're going to do a quick review of factoring here. So our first problem, we have three terms. The first thing we look for is a GCF, which this one does not have. So with three terms, we do the AC method. So we're going to take the A value, which is 3, times the C value, which is -7, and that gives us -21. And I'm going to look for two numbers that multiply together to get to -21, and I want those same two numbers to add together to my B value, which is 4. So we're going to look at those numbers right there, and we're going to find that -3 and +7 work. So you end up with -3 times 7. You might have ended up with +3 times -7, but when you check the addition, you want to make it a +4. It forces those negatives and positives. It doesn't matter the order that you have these in, but we're going to split our middle term based on those numbers. So we're going to copy our first term, 3x squared, make the 4x into a -3x plus 7x, and then a -7 carried down at the end. Now that it is in four terms, we are able to factor by grouping. So we're going to group these first two. Their GCF is 3x. So we bring that out front. The leftovers go in parentheses. So 3x squared divided by 3x leaves us with x, minus 3x divided by 3x is 1. Make sure you don't have that 1 disappear on you. And my second two terms, 7x minus 7, have a +7 in common. When you divide 7x by 7, you end up with x. And when you divide -7 by 7, you end up with -1. When you look at your leftovers here, they are the same. So x minus 1 is one of my factors. And then my leftovers from that are the 3x plus 7. And so that is my factorization. We can throw an f of x in the front here to show that function. That is a 7 there. Okay, if we go on to number 9, again, we have three terms. I look for a GCF. There is not one, so I go ahead and do the AC method. 2 times -5 is -10. I'm looking for numbers that multiply to -10 and add to 9. So maybe I realize it's going to be a 1 times 10, but I'm not sure negative positive. I want a +9, so I need that larger number to be positive and that smaller number to be negative. So if I split this middle term here, we end up with 2x squared minus 1x plus 10x minus 5. And then we factor by grouping. So we have our 2x squared minus 1x. All that they have in common is an x. Leftovers would be a 2x minus 1. Remember, we're dividing that out of that term. And then we have a 10x minus 5 that are going to have a 5 in common, so +5. If I divide that out, 10x divided by 5 is 2x, and -5 divided by 5 is a -1. What is in common now? The 2x minus 1 is my GCF, and then my leftovers are the x plus 5. And we put those in the parentheses as given there. Number 10, again, you look for a GCF. There is not one, but we do have three terms. So we have the AC method here. My A value is 1 times my C value of -27, leaves me with -27. I need to find two numbers that multiply to -27 and add to -6. So those numbers are going to be -9 times +3. Check those over again to make sure you have them right. And then we're going to apply those. Now, this is one of those where you want to ask yourself, can we take the shortcut? And the shortcut is, if the A value is 1, we can put our two values into the parentheses right away without having to factor by grouping. So the -9 that I get, I put x minus 9, and the 3 I got, I put x plus 3, and I have my factorization. 4x squared minus 9 is two terms. I look for a GCF. There is not one. Remember, I've been looking for a GCF in all of these first, but I have two terms, which means hopefully it's a difference of squares. So 4x squared is 2x times 2x. 9 is 3 times 3. So each of those numbers is a square, and it is a difference. It's a minus. So you set up a parentheses with the 2x in the front. One of them is going to be a plus sign, and with the 3 in the back. And then we set the same parentheses up, but instead of a plus sign, with a minus sign, and that's your factorization there. Your last one here, 4x cubed minus 16x squared, you look for a GCF first, and even though I've said there's not one on every other problem, there is one here. Both of these terms will divide by 4x squared. So you take your GCF out first, which is 4x squared. Your leftovers at that point, 4x cubed divided by 4x squared is an x, minus 16x squared divided by 4x squared is a 4. And that is your factorization right there. Now you would look to see if you could factor any further, but we don't have any x squareds left in our parentheses, so we are done. Thank you very much.